Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Your Holiness, Pope Francis, thank you for convening this critical summit and for your unconditional commitment to the world's children. Years ago, you published a collection of letters from boys and girls around the world, along with your responses. In one of them, a young refugee, Muhammad, asked you, "Will the world be again as it was in the past?" He wanted to know if his life would ever be the same. It is a question that plagues millions of children whose entire worlds have been turned inside out by war, and it is one with no easy answers. The Convention for the Rights of the Child is the most widely ratified human rights treaty in history. In theory, the consensus is clear: every right for every child. Yet, so many children around the world are excluded from its promise, particularly in war zones. Worse yet, people have grown desensitized to their pain. Today, 1 in 6 children on Earth live in areas affected by conflict. 1 in 6. Every day, dozens of them are killed or maimed. They are robbed of every right to life and security, but also to education, health, privacy, and protection from abuse. Anyone who has ever cared for a child understands the instinct to shield them from distress. But in the rage of war, there is no protecting children from humanity's cruelest impulses. Our worst nightmares become their daytime. In every news report or video flagged sensitive on social media, they are there, bleeding and covering their ears after an airstrike, burned so badly their own parents can't even recognize them, taking in horrors that have been blurred from our screens for our protection. Think about that. Their lived reality is deemed too graphic for even adults to watch. So the youngest victims of war are robbed of their most basic human right, the right to childhood. And this crime is rationalized with yet another, expelling them from the realm of childhood altogether. They are demonized, aged up, portrayed as threats, or simply dismissed as human shields. From Palestine to Sudan, Yemen to Myanmar and beyond, this unchilding creates chasms in our compassion. It stifles urgency in favor of complacency. It allows politicians to sidestep blame, to put narrow agendas above collective obligations. Your Holiness, soon after receiving your invitation to attend the summit, I read a shocking study on the psychological state of Gaza's most vulnerable children. 96% reported feeling that their death was imminent. Almost half said they wanted to die, not to become astronauts or firefighters like other children. They wanted to be dead. How did we let our humanity come to this? A status quo that deems some children's suffering acceptable based on their name, faith, or the land of their birth, where every child's fate depends on where they fall on some artificial line between our children and theirs. Without equal application, global commitments ring hollow. Because if a right can be willfully denied, then it is not a right at all. It is a privilege for the lucky few. As this day proceeds and children's rights are explored from every angle, we cannot lose sight of those who wake up every day and wonder, will the world be again as it was in the past? Your Holiness, your answer to Muhammad's question was this: no, when the time comes, the world will not be as it was. It will be far better than it was in the past. That beautiful vision is still entirely within our grasp, but only if we make it so. Every right for every child. That is the promise the world made to the children with disabilities, the refugees, the orphaned, and the abandoned. Whether they are missing their 2 front teeth or have lost limbs to war wounds, every child has an equal claim to our protection and care. No exceptions, no exclusions, no preconditions. Thank you all very much.